I've been invisible for 823 days. Tomorrow, I'll break my own rule. The alarm screams at 5 a.m. in my queen's apartment, a studio so small I can touch both walls from the center of the room. I silence it with practiced efficiency, muscle memory carved from 2 years of identical mornings. The ritual begins before my eyes fully open. Feet on cold linoleum, shuffle to the bathroom mirror, confront the ghost I've become. Isla Martinson, 26 years old, literature degree gathering dust somewhere in the back of my mind. This woman staring back isn't her, can't be her. That girl believed in poetry, in the transformative power of words, in beauty as rebellion. This woman knows better. My hands reach for the elastic band on the sink, hair first. Always hair first. I gather the dark strands, longer than I remember, past my shoulders now, and twist them into submission. The bun pulls so tight my scalp protests, a dull ache settling at the base of my skull. Good. Pain keeps me focused. Pain reminds me why this matters. The clothes come next. Gray cotton shirt 3 sizes too large, shapeless and forgiving in all the wrong ways. Black pants with an elastic waist, the kind elderly women wear to garden. Comfortable, they say in stores. Practical. What they mean is invisible. What they mean is safe. Last, the glasses. Clear frames, plain glass, absolutely unnecessary. My vision is 20/20, has been my whole life. But these frames create distance, a barrier between the world and the woman underneath. Intellectual, people assume, serious, untouchable. The woman in the mirror is a stranger I've carefully constructed, a fortress of fabric and constraint. My phone vibrates on the counter. Not a call, I never get calls this early, but a notification. Mount Sinai Hospital, payment overdue, $4,200. The number might as well be 4 million. I don't open the message, already know what it says. Same thing it said last week, last month. Every month since Dad's diagnosis. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer doesn't care about payment plans. Doesn't care that his daughter works 70 hours a week and still can't keep up. Doesn't care that every shift at the Valenti mansion is another day I swallow my pride and become nothing. The voicemail light blinks. I press play. Gad's voice fills the tiny bathroom, weak but trying so hard to sound strong. Hey, sweetheart. Just checking in. Don't worry about the bills, okay? I'm feeling better, really. The new treatment, well, the doctors are optimistic. You just take care of yourself. Love you, kiddo. Lies. Kind lies, but lies nonetheless. Robert Martinson, former construction foreman, built half the buildings in Brooklyn with his bare hands. Now he can barely lift a glass of water, and he's lying to protect me. Still trying to be the dad who fixed everything, who made the monsters under the bed disappear with a joke and a hug. I delete the message before the tears can start. Crying ruins the makeup I haven't put on yet. Crying makes you visible. The bag by the door catches my eye. My work bag, sensible and black and boring. But underneath the spare uniform and the book I pretend I'll read on the subway, there's tissue paper. Expensive tissue paper wrapped around something I spent 3 months saving for. The red dress. I saw it in a boutique window 4 months ago, walking home from the mansion through Manhattan because I'd missed the last express train. Crimson silk that seemed to glow under the streetlights. Fitted bodice, knee-length skirt, elegant neckline that suggested everything without showing anything. The kind of dress that makes you stand taller just looking at it. $340. I counted out the cash at the register like a bank robber. Money scraped together $450 at a time from packed lunches instead of the deli, from walking instead of the subway, from saying no to every single thing that wasn't absolutely necessary. Haven doesn't know I bought it. My best friend, my only friend really, who keeps trying to drag me back into the land of the living. She'd have questions. Questions I don't want to answer, because tomorrow night, tonight technically, since it's already Friday, I have a date. First one in 2 years. Preston something, a friend of Haven's boyfriend's coworker. The kind of 6 degrees of separation setup that happens when your social circle has shrunk to one person who refuses to let you disappear completely. She showed me his photo last week. Nice smile, stable job in marketing, normal, safe, everything I should want. The problem: his apartment is uptown, my apartment is in Queens, and our 8 p.m. reservation is in Manhattan. 43 minutes on a good subway day, an hour and a half when the MTA decides to test my sanity. The solution? Change at the mansion. Dominic Valenti always leaves by 7, without fail. 2 years of observation has taught me his schedule better than he probably knows it himself. The mansion will be empty. I'll have the staff bathroom, privacy, time to transform from ghost to woman and back again before anyone notices. One night, just one night to remember what it feels like to be seen. Then back to invisible, back to safe. The subway ride to Westchester is packed even this early. Bodies pressed together in that particular Manhattan intimacy that's somehow more isolating than solitude. I stand near the door, making myself small, eyes on my phone screen showing nothing, seeing everything in my peripheral vision. 2 years of practice has made me very good at not being looked at. A woman bumps into me, doesn't apologize. A man's briefcase hits my shin. No one notices. I'm a shadow, a placeholder, exactly what I've trained myself to be. The train lurches. I grab the pole, keep my balance, keep my eyes down. Around me, people scroll through phones, read newspapers, exist in their own worlds. I could disappear right now and no one would notice until my stop, when they'd need the space I'm occupying. 2 years ago, this would have hurt. Now it's comfort, safety in anonymity. The Valenti estate sprawls across 3 acres of manicured perfection in Westchester County. Italian Renaissance architecture, all honey-colored stone and arched windows. The kind of old money that doesn't need to announce itself. 12 bedrooms I've cleaned, 8 bathrooms I've scrubbed. 1 library that still takes my breath away every time I dust the first editions he'll never read. I enter through the service entrance at exactly 6 a.m. Never 6:01, never 5:59. Punctuality is invisible. Punctuality is safe. The kitchen is dark when I arrive, but my hands know every switch, every surface. Lights first, then the coffee. He takes it black, no sugar, always in the same hand-thrown ceramic mug from some artisan in Brooklyn he probably doesn't remember commissioning. I measure the grounds with precision learned from trial and error. Too weak and he doesn't finish it. Too strong and he adds water himself. A small gesture of self-sufficiency that somehow feels like failure on my part. Stupid, caring about a man's coffee preferences when he doesn't even know my first name. Except he does now. Called me by it yesterday in the hallway, surprise bright in his storm gray eyes when he realized the woman in the red dress was his invisible housekeeper. The memory sends heat crawling up my neck. I press cold hands to my cheeks, willing the flush away. Can't afford to think about that now. Can't afford to think about how he looked at me. Really looked. For the first time in 823 days. The coffee maker gurgles to life. While it brews, I move through the rest of the morning choreography. Temperature check. He likes it cool. 68 degrees exactly. Music selection. Jazz this morning. Something mellow from the playlist he thinks materializes by magic. His Wall Street Journal on the island, ironed crisp because he once mentioned, offhand, that he preferred it that way. I know these things about him. Know he reads the business section first, sports last. Know he checks his phone exactly 3 times during breakfast. Know he leaves at 7:03, not 7, not 7:05, but 7:03 with the precision of a Swiss watch. Know he takes the stairs 2 at a time when he's stressed. Know he runs his left hand through his hair when he's thinking. Know the scar above his eyebrow came from a car accident when he was 16. I overheard Callum mention it once. 2 years of invisible observation. 2 years of learning a man who doesn't know I exist. 7:03 a.m. You Could Set Your Watch by Dominic Valenti. I hear his footsteps on the marble staircase, that particular cadence I'd recognize in my sleep. Confident, unhurried, the footsteps of a man who's never had to rush for anything because the world rearranges itself around him. He rounds the corner into the kitchen and stops. My hands freeze on the coffee mug because this isn't the routine. The routine is, he walks in, I've already set the coffee on the island, he picks it up without looking, drinks half, checks his phone, says thanks in a voice that could mean anything or nothing, and leaves. But he's standing in the doorway, looking at me, really looking. The vest is charcoal today, perfectly tailored to shoulders that don't need the help. His hair is still damp from the shower, darker when wet, pushed back from a face that could sell magazines or launch ships, or whatever the modern equivalent is for beauty so sharp it almost hurts. The scar above his left eyebrow. I've always wondered about that scar. 2 years of wondering in silence. My heart hammers against my ribs. Stop it. Stop acting like a teenager. Good morning, Miss Martinson. The formality lands like a brick. Miss Martinson. Not you, or the help, or the usual absent acknowledgement. My full name, pronounced carefully, like he's testing the shape of it in his mouth. Good morning, Mr. Valenti. My voice comes out steady. Small miracle. He moves to the island but doesn't take the coffee. Instead, he leans against the marble, arms crossed, and I realize with creeping horror that he's trying to have a conversation. Here, now, when I'm supposed to be invisible. How long have you worked for me? The question catches me off guard. 2 years, 3 months, 2 years. He repeats it like the number surprises him. It shouldn't. I've been here, right here, every single day. And yesterday was the first time I really saw you. Heat floods my face. There it is. The acknowledgement we're both pretending doesn't make this excruciatingly awkward. I prefer it that way, sir. His eyebrows lift. Prefer being invisible? Prefer being safe. The words slip out before I can stop them. Too honest. Too revealing. I busy myself wiping down a counter that's already spotless. Anything to avoid his gaze. But he's persistent. Safe from what? From men like you, I don't say. From attention that turns into expectation, that turns into entitlement, that turns into hands on my shoulders, sliding lower, office doors locking, nowhere to run without losing everything. The last time I was visible at work, it didn't end well. Silence, heavy, and waiting. I risk a glance up and immediately wish I hadn't. His expression has gone cold in a way that makes the temperature drop. Who? One word, a demand disguised as a question. It doesn't matter. I left. I survived. It matters to me. And there's something in his voice now, something dark and almost gentle at the same time, that makes my stomach flip. This is dangerous territory. This conversation, this interest, this man who suddenly decided I exist. I set down the cloth, meet his eyes. Why? Because you work for me. Because you've worked for me for 2 years without me knowing the first real thing about you. Because... He pauses, runs a hand through his damp hair, messing it up in a way that shouldn't be attractive but absolutely is. Because I can't stop thinking about that red dress. The admission hangs in the air between us. My brain short circuits. Words. I should have words. I'm good with words. Spent 3 years studying literature, can quote Toni Morrison and Gabriel Garcia Marquez, can analyze metaphor and theme and the transformative power of narrative. But right now, nothing. He seems to realize he's crossed a line, straightens, reaches for the coffee finally. You have plans tonight. It's not a question, but I answer anyway. Yes. The date who didn't show yesterday. A different date. The words taste like glass. His jaw tightens. I watch the muscle jump, fascinated despite myself. Have a good evening, Miss Martinson. And he's gone. Out of the kitchen, coffee in hand, leaving me alone with a racing pulse and the growing certainty that I've just made everything infinitely more complicated. Callum Brennan finds me 20 minutes later, polishing silverware that doesn't need polishing. The head of security is a wall of a man, 6'3" of Irish-American muscle with silver threading through his dark hair and eyes that miss nothing. Former Army Ranger, lost his wife in a car accident 5 years ago and poured all that grief into protecting Dominic Valenti with the single-minded devotion of someone who needs a purpose or he'll fall apart. He leans against the doorframe, arms crossed, watching me work with an expression I can't quite read. "You broke him." I nearly dropped the fork. "What?" "The boss. You broke him." Callum's mouth twitches with something that might be amusement. "Watch the security footage from yesterday. You in that red dress. Him seeing you for the first time. Should have sold tickets." Mortification burns through me. "You watched?" "Part of the job. Making sure no one unauthorized is in the house." He holds up a hand before I can protest. "Don't worry. Deleted it after I confirmed you weren't a threat." Well, another almost smile. "Not a security threat, anyway." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Sure you don't." He pushes off the doorframe. "Word of advice? He's been alone in that big house for a long time. Good at being alone. Prefers it even. But you," Callum shakes his head, "you got under his skin. Don't know if that's good or bad yet. Just thought you should know." He leaves before I can formulate a response. The rest of the day passes in a haze of routine tasks that usually ground me, but today feel like torture. Dust the library, vacuum the carpets, change the sheets in the master bedroom, a task I normally rush through because being in his private space feels like trespassing. But today I find myself noticing things. The book on his nightstand, Dante's Inferno, in Italian, because of course. The photo on the dresser, old and faded. Dominic as a child, maybe 12, standing between a stern-looking man and a beautiful woman with sad eyes. His parents. I've never asked about them, never asked about anything. His closet, open a crack. Rows of suits in grays and blacks and navy blues. A single tie in burgundy red that he's never worn in all the time I've worked here. I close the closet door, step away from the intimacy of it. This isn't my life. These aren't my secrets to learn. But my traitorous brain keeps circling back to this morning. The way he looked at me, the way he said my name. The hours crawl. 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Each task takes longer than it should because I can't focus. Can't stop replaying that conversation. Can't stop wondering what tonight will bring. 4 p.m., 5 p.m. The light through the windows shifts from bright to golden. Almost time. 6 p.m. arrives with agonizing slowness. I finish my tasks, double-check that everything is perfect, and make my way to the small staff bedroom off the kitchen. It's barely bigger than a closet, twin bed, attached bathroom, meant for overnight staff that Dominic doesn't employ because he values his privacy more than convenience. I lock the door, lean against it, allow myself one moment of pure panic. What am I doing? Preston Hale is probably a perfectly nice man, marketing manager, stable job, likes hiking and craft beer, and whatever else Haven told me that I immediately forgot because I was too busy spiraling about how to talk to a human being like a normal person. This is good. This is healthy. This is moving forward instead of staying trapped in the amber of 2-year-old trauma. I pull the red dress from my bag. It unfolds like liquid crimson in my hands, silk whispering promises of transformation. Be someone else. Be the woman you were before fear made you small. The shower is quick, hot water sluicing away the day's work and some of the tension. I dry off, moisturize, all the rituals I've neglected for so long. My skin is pale from living in shapeless clothes, but underneath, I'm still here, still me. The dress slides over my head, down my body like a caress. The zipper is in back. I have to contort to reach it, but finally Finally, it's on. I turn to the mirror and don't recognize myself. The woman staring back has dark hair falling in natural waves past her shoulders, drying into soft curls. She has green eyes lined with subtle mascara, lips touched with nude gloss, cheekbones highlighted with a dusting of blush. The dress fits like it was made for her, hugging a waist and hips that have been hidden for so long they feel like rediscovered countries. She's beautiful. I'm beautiful. The realization hits with the force of revelation. Somewhere underneath the gray cotton and the tight buns and the terror, I'm still here, still capable of this, still worthy of being seen. My phone buzzes. Haven, don't you dare cancel. Date in 90 minutes. I will hunt you down. I laugh, type back. On my way. 7:15. Dominic left at 7, like always. The mansion is empty except for the security guards at the gate, and they know me. Won't question me leaving. I slip on the black heels, borrowed from Haven because I don't own any, and grab the small clutch with my phone, ID, lipstick, everything a woman needs for a night out. One last look in the mirror. The woman in red looks back. Strong, visible, determined. I can do this. I unlock the door and step into the hallway, heels clicking on marble in a sound I've never made in this house. Confident, announcing, here I am, see me. The front entrance is through the main foyer, past the grand staircase, and the chandelier that cost more than I'll make in 5 years. I've cleaned this path 1,000 times, but never walked it like this. Never walked it as someone who belongs. My reflection catches in the hall mirror. I pause, just for a second, just to remember this moment, this feeling of possibility. Then I keep walking, turn the corner toward the door, and freeze, because Dominic Valenti is standing at the bottom of the stairs, in a tuxedo, looking at me like I punched all the air from his lungs. We stare at each other for what feels like hours, but is probably 3 seconds. My brain scrambles. He left. He always leaves at 7. Why is he here? The tuxedo answers the question. Event. He has an event. Changed plans. Came back to change. And now we're here, in this moment, and I can't breathe. He moves first. Crosses the distance between us with long strides that eat up the marble, and I should back up, should maintain professional distance, but my feet have forgotten how to move. He stops inches away, close enough that I smell his cologne, something woody and expensive and maddeningly familiar from 1,000 mornings of making his coffee. Close enough to see the flecks of darker gray in his eyes, like storm clouds gathering. You look... His voice comes out rough. He clears his throat, tries again. That dress. Heat floods through me. I was just leaving. Your date. Yes. Preston. He says the name like it tastes wrong in his mouth. I blink. How did you... I asked Haven. The admission should alarm me. Instead, it does something else entirely. Something warm and dangerous that I absolutely cannot afford to feel. That's... I search for the word. Inappropriate, invasive, thrilling. Why? His hand comes up, hovers near my face like he wants to touch but doesn't quite dare. Because I've been blind for 2 years, and now that I can see, I find I can't look away. The words land like an earthquake. My pulse hammers in my throat. This is my boss. This is Dominic Valenti. This is every terrible idea wrapped in 6 feet of tailored danger. I have to go. The words come out breathless, unconvincing. I know, but neither of us moves. His eyes drop to my lips. Back up. The air between us crackles with something I haven't felt in so long I'd forgotten the shape of it. Want. Pure, undiluted, absolutely impossible want. My phone buzzes in the clutch. The sound breaks whatever spell we're under. I step back. He lets me, but I see his hand flex, like he's forcing himself not to reach for me. Enjoy your evening, Miss Martinson. The formality is a kindness, A return to safe ground. I grab it like a lifeline. Thank you, Mr. Valenti. I walk past him, out the door, into the cool October night. I don't look back, can't look back, because if I do, I'll see something in his eyes that will make me turn around. And I can't afford that, can't afford him. The Uber arrives 3 minutes later. I slide into the back seat, give the driver the restaurant address, and watch the mansion disappear behind me. My hands are shaking. The restaurant is exactly as Haven described. Mid-level nice, good food, romantic lighting without being cliché. I arrive at 7:50, 10 minutes early because punctuality is so ingrained, I can't turn it off, even when I want to. The hostess seats me at a table for two by the window, brings water, smiles with professional warmth. I check my phone. 7:58, 8 p.m., the appointed time. 8:15, I order wine I don't drink. 8:30, the pitying looks from the waitstaff begin. 8:45, my phone buzzes. Preston, sorry babe, something came up. Rain check? I stare at the message, read it 3 times. The rage builds slowly, a wave gathering force. Something came up. Rain check. Babe. I type back. Don't contact me again. Delete his number. Block him. The wine sits untouched. The candle on the table gutters. Around me, couples laugh and eat and exist in their coupled universes. And here I sit, alone. In a red dress I saved 3 months to afford, stood up by a man who couldn't even bother to cancel before I left my house. The humiliation tastes like copper. I signal the waitress. Just the wine, please. She nods with that particular kindness reserved for the obviously abandoned. Brings the check. I pay cash. Leave a generous tip because it's not her fault. My life is a joke. Outside, the October air bites. I pull out my phone to call an Uber. Isla. I know his voice before I turn. Dominic leans against a black BMW parked at the curb, arms crossed, still in the tuxedo, watching me with an expression I can't quite decipher. What are you doing here? The question comes out sharper than intended. I was in the area. The lie is so blatant it's almost funny. No, you weren't. He pushes off the car, walks toward me with that predatory grace that probably makes enemies soil themselves. You're right, I wasn't. Then why? Because I couldn't stop thinking about you walking into that restaurant, sitting down, waiting. He's close now, too close, not close enough. And I wanted to make sure that if he didn't show, you wouldn't be alone. Something in my chest cracks. That's inappropriate, invasive, completely crossing every professional boundary. All of the above. I know. He doesn't sound remotely apologetic. Have dinner with me. The request, demand, catches me completely off guard. What? You're dressed. I'm hungry. The night doesn't have to be a complete waste. His eyes hold mine. No expectations, no strings, just food and conversation. I promise not to let you go home alone. I should say no, should call that Uber, should run from this man and whatever dangerous gravity he's exerting. Instead, I hear myself say, where? His smile is small, devastating. You'll see. The restaurant Dominic takes me to isn't on any list I've ever seen. No neon sign, no valet stand, just a brass plaque beside an unmarked door in Midtown that reads, Lombardi's, established 1952. Old money, the kind that doesn't advertise. Inside, the world shifts into something out of a different era. Dark wood paneling, white tablecloths crisp enough to cut, a handful of tables, maybe 10 total, each occupied by people who look like they own senators. The maitre d' sees Dominic and straightens, recognition flashing across his face. Mr. Valenti, your usual table is ready. No reservation, no call ahead, just ready, like the universe rearranges itself around him as a matter of course. We're led to a corner booth, half hidden by a privacy screen of carved mahogany. Garden lights twinkle through the window, illuminating what must be an interior courtyard. Beautiful, intimate, absolutely not where I should be with my boss. Dominic waits until I slide into the booth before sitting across from me. The table is small, our knees nearly touch underneath. I fold my hands in my lap to keep from fidgeting. You come here for meetings. It's not a question. His mouth quirks. Is that what I told you? It's what you're about to tell me. Perceptive. He leans back, studying me with an intensity that makes my skin prickle. I come here when I want to think without being interrupted. The owner is an old family friend, knows to keep people away from this table. The admission feels significant. This isn't a business dinner. This is personal space he's sharing. The sommelier appears with wine I didn't see Dominic order. Expensive, judging by the reverent way it's presented. Dominic tastes, nods, and the man pours for both of us before disappearing. I lift a glass. The wine is probably extraordinary, but honestly, I wouldn't know the difference between this and the $15 bottle Haven and I split on Friday nights. I sip anyway. It's smooth. That's about all I've got. Dominic watches me over the rim of his own glass. You don't have to pretend to like it. I'm not pretending. You are. Your nose wrinkled. Barely, but it did. Heat crawls up my neck. I'm more of a beer person. Good to know. He signals the sommelier, who materializes like a genie. Do you have Brooklyn Lager? The man's eyebrows lift fractionally. I'll check the kitchen, sir. 2 minutes later, I have a beer. Dominic has that small smile again, the one that transforms his face from austere to almost boyish. Thank you. The words feel inadequate. You're welcome, Isla. My name in his mouth does things to my nervous system that should probably concern me. I take a long pull of beer to cover my reaction. How long have you worked for me? He's already asked this question once, this morning in the kitchen, but something in his tone suggests he's approaching from a different angle now. 2 years, 3 months. And in that time, I never once had a real conversation with you. I preferred it that way. So you said. He sets down his wine, leans forward, elbows on the table, hands clasped. Why? The question is simple. The answer isn't. I could deflect, change the subject, maintain the walls. But sitting here in this red dress, with a man who tracked me down to make sure I wasn't alone, the walls feel flimsy, pointless. My last job ended badly. The words taste like rust. The senior partner decided my professional demeanor was an invitation, that my smile meant interest, that his position gave him certain rights. Dominic's expression doesn't change, but something behind his eyes goes Arctic. Name. It doesn't matter. It matters to me. Why? The question bursts out sharper than intended. Why does any of this matter to you? 24 hours ago, you didn't know I existed. Now you're, what, playing White Knight? He flinches. Barely, but I catch it. I'm not playing anything. His voice is quiet, controlled in a way that suggests the opposite underneath. And you're wrong. I did know you existed. I knew someone made perfect coffee every morning. Knew someone adjusted the temperature without being asked. Knew someone changed the music when I was stressed. I just never... He stops, runs a hand through his hair, destroying the careful styling. I never connected those actions to a person. To you. That's on me. The admission lands between us, heavy with something that feels like regret. Invisible was safer, I offer. Not quite an absolution. Safer from what? Men who think kindness is consent. Men who think no isn't a complete sentence. Men who... I cut myself off. Too much. Too far. But Dominic's jaw has gone tight. He hurt you. He scared me. The distinction matters. He made me feel like my body wasn't mine, like being visible meant being available. So I stopped being visible. Silence stretches. Our food arrives. I didn't notice us ordering, but there's pasta in front of me, some kind of carbonara that smells like heaven. Dominic has the same. We don't touch it. I can make him go away. His voice is flat, final. The voice of a man who's made people disappear before. No. Isla. I handled it. NDA. Settlement. I walked away. It's done. Is it? He tilts his head. Because from where I'm sitting, he won. He made you afraid of being seen. Made you hide. He gets to keep his job, his reputation, his life, and you get to be invisible. The truth of it stings. I pick up my fork, twirl pasta I don't want to eat. That's how the world works. Rich, powerful men don't face consequences. They do if I get involved. The casual certainty in his tone should probably alarm me. Instead, it does something else entirely. Something warm and dangerous that pools low in my stomach. I meet his eyes. I don't need you to fight my battles. I know you don't. You're perfectly capable of fighting them yourself. But maybe you don't have to fight alone anymore. The offer hangs in the air. Behind it, implications I'm not ready to examine. I change the subject. Tell me about your family. His expression shudders. Not much to tell. The photo in your bedroom, you, your parents, you looked about 12. You notice that. I notice everything about, I catch myself, too honest. About the house, it's my job. He doesn't call me on the slip, mercy, maybe. That was the last photo taken before my mother left. I was 12. She couldn't handle my father's business, the violence, the danger, so she left. And your father? Died when I was 23, heart attack. Very anticlimactic for a man who survived 3 assassination attempts. No emotion in his voice, just facts delivered with clinical precision. He built the Valenti Empire from nothing, made sure I understood the cost of that empire before he died, the isolation, the constant threat, the impossibility of trust. Understanding clicks into place. That's why you're alone. Alone is safe, he echoes my earlier words back at me. Or it was, until yesterday. My heart does something acrobatic and inadvisable. Dominic, you wore a red dress and walked past me in the hallway, and I realized I'd been sleepwalking through my life for years, just going through motions, building wealth I don't need, maintaining power I don't want, existing in this perfectly controlled vacuum. He leans forward. And then I saw you, really saw you. And for the first time in longer than I can remember, I wanted something. What? The word barely makes it out. To know you, to hear you laugh, to understand why you hide when you should be impossible not to see. I can't breathe. The restaurant has contracted to just this booth, this table, this man looking at me like I'm the answer to a question he forgot he was asking. This is a terrible idea. My voice shakes. Probably. You're my boss. I'm aware. I could lose everything. Not if I have anything to say about it. He reaches across the table. His hand hovers near mine, not quite touching, giving me the choice. One dinner, no expectations, no strings, just 2 people who've been invisible in different ways, trying to figure out what it means to be seen. I should pull away, should remember every reason this is dangerous, should protect myself the way I've learned to protect myself. Instead, I turn my hand over, palm up, an offering. His fingers thread through mine, warm, solid, inevitable. We eat with our free hands, a logistical challenge neither of us seems willing to solve by letting go. The pasta is perfect. The conversation flows easier now, skating across safer topics. He asks about my literature degree. I ask about his restaurants. We find common ground in unexpected places, both only children, both lost mothers to different forms of abandonment, both built fortresses around ourselves and called it strength. Why literature? He asked between bites. Because words have power. I pause, considering. They can make you invisible or make you seen, can cage you or set you free. I wanted to understand that power. And now I use it to disappear. The admission tastes bitter. Ironic, isn't it? Not ironic, tragic. His thumb traces circles on the back of my hand. You should be writing, creating, not cleaning my house. Writing doesn't pay medical bills. No, he agrees quietly. It doesn't. We fall into comfortable silence. I watch him across the table, this man I've observed for 2 years without ever really knowing. The way he tilts his head when he's thinking, the small scar above his eyebrow, the way his eyes soften when he looks at me, like I'm something precious he's afraid to break. What do you see? He asks suddenly. What? When you look at me, what do you see? The question catches me off guard. I could lie, could say something safe, but sitting here, hand in his, the truth feels easier. Someone who's lonely, someone who's built walls so high he forgot what it's like outside them. Someone who's powerful and dangerous and utterly alone. I pause. Someone who deserves to be seen, too. His breath catches. For a moment, he doesn't speak, just looks at me like I've said something profound instead of obvious. No one's ever... He stops, starts again. Most people see the power, the money, the name. They don't see past it. I've been watching you for 2 years. I see past it. What else do you see? You read Dante in Italian because English translations don't capture the rhythm. You take your coffee black because your father did. You leave at 7:03 because being predictable means being prepared. You run your hand through your hair when you're stressed. You hate ties but wear them anyway because image matters in your world. I take a breath. You're kind to people who work for you, even when you don't notice them. You tip generously. You donated anonymously to the Children's Hospital last year. I saw the thank you letter on your desk. He's staring at me now, something like wonder in his eyes. You really do see everything. It's what invisible people do. We watch, we notice, we remember. I'm sorry. The apology surprises me. For what? For not seeing you sooner. For making you feel invisible in the first place. You didn't make me invisible. I chose that, for safety. And now, his hand tightens on mine. Do you still feel safe being invisible? I think about the red dress, about tonight, about this man who tracked me down to make sure I wasn't alone. No, I admit. Now I think maybe invisible is just another kind of cage. Dessert arrives. Tiramisu. We share, forks meeting in the middle of the plate, and when I steal a bit of his portion, he laughs. Actually laughs. The sound is rich and unguarded, and I want to collect it like a souvenir. Can I ask you something? His thumb traces circles on the back of my hand. Casual intimacy that shouldn't be as devastating as it is. You've been asking things all night. This one's different. He pauses, considers. Why tomorrow? Why wait 2 years and then suddenly decide to be visible tomorrow? Haven, my best friend's relentless campaign to drag me back into life. Preston's photo and his nice smile and the promise of normal. The red dress waiting in my closet like a talisman. Because I was tired of surviving. I wanted to live. Simple truth, complicated aftermath. And the date was part of that. Yes. He's an idiot. Matter of fact, no heat, just observation. I laugh, surprising myself. You don't even know him. I know he stood you up. That's sufficient evidence of idiocy. The waiter brings the check. Dominic pays without looking at the total, leaves cash that's probably more than I make in a week. We stand, still holding hands, and I realize I don't want this night to end. Don't want to go back to my apartment alone, back to invisible, back to safe. I should get home. The words feel like surrender. I'll drive you. You don't have to. I know. His hand finds the small of my back as we navigate toward the exit. I want to. The BMW is parked around the corner. He opens the passenger door, waits until I'm settled before closing it with a soft click. The interior smells like leather and his cologne. Intimate space. His space. I'm suddenly hyper-aware of every inch of my skin. He slides into the driver's seat, starts the engine. Where to? I give him my address in Queens. He doesn't comment on the neighborhood, doesn't react to the distance, just programs the GPS and pulls into traffic. Manhattan at night is a different creature. Neon and noise and people living their lives in fast forward. Dominic drives with the same confidence he does everything. One hand on the wheel, the other occasionally reaching over to rest on my knee. Casual, possessive. I should probably object. I don't. Tell me about your father. His voice breaks the comfortable silence. He's dying. Blunt. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4. The doctors say 6 months, maybe a year if the treatment works. It won't work. I'm sorry. Me too. I stare out the window, watching the city blur past. He was a construction foreman, built half of Brooklyn with his bare hands. Now he can't lift a coffee cup without shaking. And he's lying about feeling better to spare me the truth. Like I don't know. Like I can't see it eating him alive. Dominic's hand tightens on my knee. You're paying his medical bills. Someone has to. That's why you work 70-hour weeks. Why you take every shift I offer. Heat prickles behind my eyes. I refuse to let it become tears. I do what I have to do. You're remarkable. The compliment lands wrong. I pull away from his hand. I'm not remarkable. I'm desperate. There's a difference. I disagree. He glances at me, expression serious. Remarkable isn't about circumstances. It's about what you do with them. You could have crumbled. Instead, you survived. You're still surviving. Barely. Still counts. We cross the bridge into Queens. The neighborhood shifts from Manhattan polish to lived-in reality. Bodegas and laundromats in buildings that have seen better decades. This is my world. So far from his, it might as well be a different planet. He parks in front of my building, kills the engine, turns to face me fully. Thank you. I mean it. For tonight, for seeing me, for not letting me be alone. Isla. His hand comes up, cups my face, thumb brushing my cheekbone. This isn't charity. This isn't me being nice. I'm being selfish. Because now that I've seen you, I can't unsee you, and I don't want to. The air between us crackles. His eyes drop to my lips, back up, question clear in the tilt of his head. I could say no, could preserve the professional boundary, could be smart and careful and safe. Instead, I lean forward. He meets me halfway. The kiss is soft at first, testing. His lips barely brush mine, giving me every opportunity to pull back. I don't. My hand finds his shirt collar, fingers curling into the fabric, pulling him closer. The kiss deepens. His other hand slides into my hair, angling my head, and I open for him. He tastes like wine and tiramisu, and something that's just him. Addictive, dangerous, perfect. His tongue traces my bottom lip and I gasp, opening further. The kiss turns hungry, desperate. 2 years of loneliness and longing poured into this moment. His hand tightens in my hair. My fingers dig into his shoulders. When we finally separate, both breathless, foreheads touching, he whispers against my lips. I've wanted to do that since I saw you in the hallway. It's a terrible idea, but I'm smiling. The best ones usually are. He pulls back enough to see my face. Have breakfast with me tomorrow. Dominic, just breakfast, coffee and conversation. 7 a.m. before work. Please. The please does it. This man who commands and expects and takes, saying please like my answer actually matters. Okay. His smile could power the city. Okay. I get out of the car before I can do something stupid like invite him up. He waits until I'm inside the building, watching through the windshield before driving away. I climb the 3 flights to my apartment on legs that don't quite feel steady. Inside, I lean against the door, slide down to sit on the floor, still wearing the red dress, and let myself feel everything I've been holding back. Fear, excitement, desire, hope, dangerous hope. My phone buzzes. Haven. Well? I type back. It's complicated. Her response is immediate. Good complicated or bad complicated? I stare at the screen. Think about Dominic's hands in my hair, his lips on mine, the way he looked at me like I was the only real thing in the world. I don't know yet. Sleep doesn't come easy. I lie in bed, replaying the night in fragmented loops. His voice, his touch, the way he said my name like it mattered. At some point, exhaustion wins. I drift off, still smiling. The alarm screams at 5 a.m. Muscle memory has me upright before my brain fully engages. Then it all crashes back. Breakfast, 7 a.m. Dominic. Panic sets in. I shower faster than should be possible. Throw on jeans and a sweater that actually fits. Leave my hair down. Minimal makeup. This is breakfast, not a date. Breakfast with my boss, who I kissed last night, who I'm seeing in less than 2 hours. The subway is packed even this early. I stand near the doors, mind racing through every possible disaster scenario. He'll regret last night. He'll be cold and professional. He'll fire me for crossing a line. My phone buzzes. Dominic. Still on for breakfast? My thumbs hover over the keyboard. This is my out. I could cancel, could preserve plausible deniability, could go back to invisible. Instead, yes, where? The mansion, I'll cook. The offer is so unexpected I almost laugh. Dominic Valenti, Mafia Prince, cooking breakfast. Right, you cook? Occasionally, when properly motivated. Heat floods through me. I type back, see you at 7. The mansion looks different in early morning light. Less imposing, almost welcoming. I let myself in through the front entrance, not the service door, a change that feels symbolic, and follow the smell of coffee to the kitchen. Dominic stands at the stove, still in pajama pants and a t-shirt, hair mussed like he just woke up. Barefoot, domestic, absolutely devastating. He turns when I enter, smiles. Good morning. Morning. I hover in the doorway, suddenly uncertain. What's the protocol here? We kissed last night. Now we're, what, dating? Still boss and employee? Somewhere in the confusing middle? He solves the problem by crossing to me, dropping a quick kiss on my forehead like it's the most natural thing in the world. Coffee? Please. He pours 2 mugs, hands me one. Our fingers brush. Electricity sparks. I'm making omelets. Preferences? You're serious about cooking. Did you think I was joking? I thought you had people for that. I do. You. His grin is boyish. But you're off duty this morning. Sit. Let me impress you with my mediocre culinary skills. I perch on a stool at the island, watching him work. He's competent, efficient, clearly done this before. Eggs, cheese, peppers, mushrooms. The omelet comes together quickly, plated with the same precision he applies to everything. It's delicious. I tell him so. Don't sound so surprised. He's sitting next to me now, close enough that our knees touch. I'm not surprised. I'm impressed. There's a difference. We eat in comfortable silence. The morning light streams through the windows, painting everything gold. This moment feels stolen, sacred, like we're existing in a bubble outside normal rules. I have a proposition. Dominic sets down his fork. My stomach flips. What kind of proposition? The kind where I take you to dinner again and again, where we see if this, he gestures between us, is something worth exploring. I still work for you. So quit. I nearly choke on my coffee. What? Quit. I'll match your salary plus benefits. You can focus on finishing your degree, spend time with your father, not have to worry about money. The offer is generous, insane, completely unacceptable. No, his eyebrows lift. No, I'm not a charity case. I don't need you to save me. I'm not trying to save you. Frustration bleeds into his tone. I'm trying to remove the power imbalance so we can explore this without ethical complications. And if it doesn't work out, then what? I've quit my job, taken your money, and I'm left with nothing. You think I'd leave you with nothing? I think I don't know you well enough to trust you won't. The words come out harsher than intended, but I don't take them back. His expression shuts down. Fair enough. Silence stretches. Uncomfortable now. I've hurt him. Didn't mean to, but the damage is done. I should go. I stand, suddenly desperate to escape. Thank you for breakfast. Isla, wait! But I'm already moving, grabbing my bag, heading for the door. He follows, catches my wrist gently. I'm sorry. His voice is quiet. I pushed too hard. I didn't mean to make you feel like you couldn't trust me. I turn to face him, see genuine regret in his eyes. I need this job, Dominic. Need the independence it gives me. If I take your money, if I let you pay my way, then I become dependent, and dependent is dangerous. Even if the person you're depending on would never hurt you, especially then. Because hope is the most dangerous thing of all. He releases my wrist, steps back. Okay, keep the job. We'll figure out the rest as we go. You're okay with that? With the complication? I'm okay with anything that keeps you in my life. The declaration steals my breath. This man, this impossible, dangerous, wonderful man. One rule. My voice is steadier than I feel. At work, we're professional. You're Mr. Valenti. I'm your employee, no exceptions. And outside of work? Outside of work, we'll figure it out. He nods, slowly. I can work with that. Relief floods through me. Okay then. Okay. He moves closer, hands frame my face. Can I kiss you goodbye? Or is that against the rules? We're not at work yet. I rise on tiptoes. So no, not against the rules. His kiss is slower this time, deeper, a promise of more. When we separate, I'm dizzy. See you Monday, Mr. Valenti. Formal, professional. See you Monday, Miss Martinson. His eyes dance with amusement. And tomorrow night, dinner, my place, 7 p.m. That's not a date outside of work, perfectly within the rules. I can't argue with his logic. Don't want to, honestly. 7 p.m. I agree. His smile is worth every complication ahead. 3 months. That's how long it takes for the impossible to become routine. 3 months of weekday mornings where I'm Miss Martinson and he's Mr. Valenti, maintaining perfect professional distance while I dust his library and he conducts business from the office. 3 months of stolen evenings where I'm Isla and he's Dom, and we cook together in his massive kitchen, or watch old movies in his screening room, or talk until dawn about everything and nothing. 3 months of carefully compartmentalized existence. It's working, mostly. The cracks started showing 2 weeks ago. I'm in the upstairs hallway, changing sheets in one of the guest bedrooms, a task that's meditative, routine, safe, when I hear voices from Dominic's office. The door is ajar. I should walk past, should maintain the boundary we've established. Instead, I pause. Can't keep doing this. Callum's voice, tight with frustration. You're distracted. Missed the Chicago meeting. Forgot about the shipment clearance. This isn't like you. I'll handle it. Dominic's tone brooks no argument. You're not handling it. You're... Pause. Heavy silence. It's her, isn't it? My stomach clenches. I should move. Should not be listening to this. That's not your concern. It is when it affects the business, when it makes you vulnerable. Callum's words cut clean. She's a civilian, Dom. She doesn't understand this world. What happens when Constantine finds out? When he decides she's leverage? The name lands like ice water. Silas Constantine. The rival I've heard mentioned in hushed tones, never directly. The threat Dominic doesn't discuss. He won't find out. But there's uncertainty underneath, rare for Dominic, telling, you can't protect her if you won't acknowledge the danger. I've heard enough, more than enough. I move away silently, the guest bedroom forgotten, and lock myself in the staff bathroom until my hands stop shaking. That evening, Dominic picks me up at 7 sharp. We're supposed to go to dinner, some new French place in Soho he's been wanting to try. Instead, I climb into the BMW, and the words tumble out before I can stop them. Who's Silas Constantine? His expression shudders. Where did you hear that name? Does it matter? Yes. Clipped, cold. The voice he uses when negotiating deals I'm not supposed to know about. I heard Callum. This afternoon, you left your office door open. He's quiet for a long moment, hands white-knuckled on the steering wheel. Finally, he's a problem I'm handling. Is he dangerous? Isla, is he dangerous to you? To me? My voice rises despite my best efforts. Because Callum seems to think I'm a target now, that being with you makes me vulnerable. You're not a target. Firm. Absolute. I won't let you become one. That's not an answer. He pulls the car over. We're on a side street in Brooklyn. Brownstones on either side, streetlights casting everything in amber. He turns to face me fully. Silas Constantine runs territory in the Bronx. Has for 10 years. He wants to expand. Specifically, he wants the Brooklyn docks. Measured. Clinical. We've been at an impasse for 6 months. No violence, just territorial posturing. And if he finds out about me? He won't. But if he does? Dominic's jaw tightens. Then I make a choice. You or the docks. And Isla, it will always be you. The declaration steals my breath. You give up territory? I'd give up everything. His hand finds mine. The docks, the businesses, all of it. You're not negotiable. My throat tightens. This man, this impossible man who's offering to dismantle his empire for me. I don't want you to sacrifice. It's not sacrifice if I'm choosing what matters. He cuts me off gently. And you matter more than any territory ever could. We sit in silence, hands intertwined, the weight of his declaration settling around us. I'm scared. The admission cost me. I know. But I'm not running. His smile breaks through. I know that too. 2 days later, Constantine finds out. The message comes through Callum. Constantine wants a meeting, wants to discuss terms, wants to see the woman worth territorial concessions. Dominic refuses initially. Absolutely not. Too dangerous, too unpredictable. But Constantine is patient, persistent. He sends another message. Meet or assume hostile intent. The choice becomes binary. Negotiate or war. I'll do it, I tell Dominic that night, in his study, surrounded by leather and old books and the trappings of power. I'll meet him. No. Yes, I move closer. Because you said it yourself, I'm not negotiable. So let's make that clear. To him, to everyone. Isla, I'm not fragile. I'm not helpless. I survived Gregory Hartwick. I can survive one dinner with Silas Constantine. The name makes him flinch. Gregory Hartwick, the ghost that haunts me. Dominic dealt with that particular ghost last month. I didn't ask for details. Didn't need them. Just knew that Gregory Hartwick resigned from his firm, left New York, and the NDA became worthless when he violated it himself. Proven through evidence I didn't want to examine too closely. Dominic never mentioned it. Just handed me a folder one evening. Settlement voided. Reputation destroyed. Justice, Mafia style. I burned the folder without reading past the first page. Now, looking at the man who delivered that justice, I see the same determination in his eyes. If we do this, his voice is careful, controlled. We do it my way, my security, my terms. You're never alone with him, not for a second. Agreed. The meeting is set for Friday, 5 days away. 5 days of preparation, of Dominic briefing me on Constantine, of Callum running security protocols, of Haven trying to talk me out of it. You don't have to do this. She said it a dozen times. I know. Then why? Because love means showing up, even when it's terrifying. Friday arrives with agonizing slowness. The restaurant is in Brighton Beach, Constantine's territory, his home advantage. Dominic doesn't like it but doesn't argue. Compromise. I wear black, professional armor. Hair down, a concession to Dominic, who loves it loose. Minimal jewelry except for the necklace he gave me last week. A small diamond on a platinum chain. Understated, expensive, his. In the car, his hand finds mine. You can still back out. So can you. Not anymore. He brings my knuckles to his lips. The moment I saw you in that red dress, backing out stopped being an option. Constantine is waiting when we arrive. Mid-50s, silver threading his dark hair, eyes that have seen too much and forgotten nothing. He stands when we approach, old world manners. Mr. Valenti, and you must be Isla. His English carries traces of Brighton Beach, Russian roots showing through American polish. Mr. Constantine, I keep my voice steady, offer my hand. He takes it. Firm grip, assessing. Please, sit. The first 20 minutes are theater. Ordering, discussing neutral topics. He asks about my work, my life, my interests. I answer carefully, truthfully, but incompletely. Then, you are very beautiful. I understand now why Dominic is willing to risk so much. I'm not a risk. Ice in my voice. I'm a person. Silence, heavy, dangerous. Then Constantine laughs. She has teeth. Good. I respect teeth. The rest of dinner passes in negotiation. Territory, profit splits, boundaries. I stay quiet, let them work. This is their world. As we're leaving, Constantine stops me. A word. Dominic tenses. That wasn't 30 seconds, here, public, with you watching. Reasonable, non-negotiable. Dominic steps back, 5 feet, close enough to intervene. Constantine leans in, voice low. My daughter was like you once. Saw good in monsters, it destroyed her. I'm sorry. Be smart. This life takes everything eventually. The question is whether you'll have anything left. Thank you for the advice. I meet his eyes. But I've already chosen. Then survive it. He releases my arm, steps back. Dominic, take care of her, or our agreement is void. In the car, Dominic's hands shake. What did he say? That loving you will cost me everything. And I told him I'd already chosen. I take his hand, because I have. He kisses my knuckles, doesn't speak, doesn't need to. The resolution comes faster than expected. Constantine takes the deal. Partnership, profit sharing, territorial peace. In exchange, I'm untouchable, protected by agreement and mutual interest. It should feel like victory. Instead, it feels like postponement, like we're holding our breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop. It doesn't. Weeks pass, then months. I start classes at NYU. Night program, slow but steady progress toward the degree I abandoned. Dominic pays the tuition. I'm paying him back through a formal loan agreement Callum drew up. Pride satisfied. Debt acknowledged. My father's health stabilizes. A new treatment, experimental, funded by a donor who wishes to remain anonymous. I know who. Don't ask, just accept the gift. Robert Martinson gets 6 more months, then a year, then remission, impossible and precious. Dominic transitions slowly out of the family business, legitimate operations only. Callum takes over the rest, the parts that can't be legitimized. The violence, the necessary evil. We don't talk about it, don't need to. Life settles into a rhythm. Weekdays at the mansion, weekends together. Movie nights and late dinners and slow Sunday mornings. We're building something real and lasting and entirely ours. Haven notices first. You're different. We're having coffee in her apartment, a rare Saturday afternoon when Dominic has business and I have freedom. Different how? Happy. Happy, not surviving happy, living happy. She sets down her mug. It's him, isn't it? The boss. I can't help the smile. Yeah, it's him. Tell me everything. So I do. The red dress, the first dinner, 3 months of secrets and stolen moments, the Constantine meeting, all of it. When I finish, Haven is quiet for a long moment. Then, you love him. Not a question, a statement. Yes, simple truth. Does he know? I think so. We haven't said the words yet, but I trail off. It's there, between us, in everything we do. Then tell him, life's too short for unsaid words. She's right. I know she's right. That night, Dominic picks me up from Havens. We're supposed to go to dinner, but instead I direct him to Brooklyn Bridge Park. We walk along the waterfront, Manhattan glittering across the river, and I try to find the courage Haven insisted I have. I love you. The words tumble out without preamble. Dominic stops walking, turns to face me, eyes wide. What? I love you. Steadier now, sure. I've been trying to find the perfect moment to say it, but Haven pointed out that any moment with you is perfect. So I'm saying it now. I love you, Dominic Valenti. I love your terrible coffee habits and your Dante obsession and the way you try to take care of everyone while pretending you don't care. I love that you see me, really see me, and I love that you let me see you too. He's staring at me like I've given him the sun and moon and stars. His voice breaks. He clears his throat, tries again. I've loved you since the red dress. Maybe before. Maybe from the first perfect cup of coffee you made, even though I didn't know it was you making it. He steps closer, hands framing my face. I love you, Isla. So much it terrifies me. So much I'd burn the world down to keep you safe. I know. I rise on tiptoes. I know. The kiss is different this time. Not hungry or desperate. Sweet. Tender. A promise. When we separate, he rests his forehead against mine. Move in with me. What? Move in. To the mansion. Or we can get a place together. Brooklyn, since you love it. Whatever you want. He pauses. I'm tired of saying goodbye at your door. Tired of stolen hours. I want mornings and evenings and everything in between. My heart hammers. That's a big step. I know. We've only been together 3 months. I know that too. His thumb brushes my cheekbone. But I also know I want forever with you. And I'd rather start building that forever now than waste time being cautious. Forever. The word hangs between us, heavy with promise. Okay? Okay? Okay, I laugh. Let's get a place in Brooklyn, together. Equal partners. His smile could light the city. Equal partners. We find an apartment in Park Slope 2 weeks later. 2 bedrooms, hardwood floors, a kitchen big enough to cook in, a library nook that makes me cry. It's perfect. Moving day is chaos. Haven and Callum somehow end up in the same room and spend the entire time bickering. My father comes, looks healthier than he has in years, and gives Dominic the father-to-boyfriend talk that makes both of them uncomfortable. By evening, we're surrounded by boxes and exhausted and deliriously happy. Home, Dominic says, looking around our apartment. Our home. Home. I agree. Life continues. I finish my degree. Dominic legitimizes more of his businesses. We host dinners and go to gallery openings and build a life that's wonderfully, beautifully normal. 12 months after the red dress, Dominic takes me back to that first restaurant. Same table, same corner booth, same garden lights twinkling outside. But different. Everything different. Dessert arrives, tiramisu, our tradition, and underneath the plate, a small red velvet box. My heart stops. He slides out of the booth, kneels on the restaurant floor, oblivious to stares, focused only on me. Isla Martinson. His voice shakes. Rare. Precious. You wore a red dress and walked into my life when I'd forgotten how to live. You chose me despite every reason not to. You stood beside me when standing was terrifying. You made me believe that love is stronger than fear, that being seen is worth the risk, that two people from different worlds can build something real. He opens the box. The ring inside is perfect. Simple, platinum band, single diamond, elegant without being ostentatious. So completely us, it hurts. Marry me. Be my wife. Let me spend the rest of my life proving that choosing me was the best decision you ever made. Tears blur my vision. I nod, can't speak, just nod frantically. I need words, love. Yes, it comes out choked. Yes, Dominic, yes. He slides the ring on. Perfect fit. Stands, pulls me into his arms, kisses me like we're the only people in the world. Around us, applause. I'd forgotten we have an audience. We don't care. 6 months later, we marry in the Brooklyn Botanical Garden. Small ceremony, 50 people. Haven as my maid of honor, Callum as his best man. My father walks me down the aisle, healthy enough to do it without assistance. A miracle I don't question. I wear red. Of course I wear red. Custom gown, crimson silk, the color that started everything. Dominic cries when he sees me. Doesn't hide it, just lets the tears fall. Our vows are simple, true. I promise to see you, every day, in every way, for the rest of my life. I promise to be seen, to be brave, to choose you every day, even when it's hard, especially then. We kiss. We're pronounced husband and wife. We walk back down the aisle together toward a future that once seemed impossible. The reception is joy, dancing, laughter. My father dances with me, whispers, "You chose well, sweetheart." I know, Dad. Haven catches the bouquet, screams. Callum looks terrified. We laugh until we cry. As the night winds down, Dominic pulls me aside. We stand in the garden, away from the music, surrounded by spring blooms and string lights. Happy? He asks. Deliriously. Any regrets? Not one. I touch his face. You? Only that I wasted 2 years not seeing you. We have the rest of our lives to make up for it. The rest of our lives. He repeats it like a vow. I like the sound of that. We kiss in the garden, husband and wife, visible and chosen, and entirely, impossibly in love. 2 years later, I graduate NYU with honors. Dominic sits front row, applauding like I've won the Nobel Prize. My father is there too, cancer-free for 18 months and counting. Haven screams my name embarrassingly loud. I accept my diploma, take the photo, realize something. I'm happy. Not surviving, not existing, living, fully, visibly, visibly. That night in the home we bought in Park Slope, Brooklyn, always Brooklyn, the neighborhood where we both found our way, I tell Dominic I'm pregnant. He freezes. What? 8 weeks. I found out yesterday. Wanted to wait until after graduation to tell you. He crosses the kitchen in 3 strides, lifts me, spins me, sets me down gently like I'm made of glass. We're having a baby. We're having a baby, I confirm. His hands frame my face. I love you. So much it scares me sometimes. I know. I love you too. Red? He asks. Boy or girl? We're painting the nursery red, right? I laugh. Obviously. We stand in our kitchen, in our home, planning our future. The future that started with a red dress and a man who finally learned to see. Outside, Brooklyn pulses with life. Inside, we're creating our own. Visible. Chosen. Loved. The red dress hangs in our closet. I wear it sometimes, for anniversaries and special occasions. Each time, Dominic looks at me the same way he did that first night, like I've stolen his breath, his heart, his every defense. Still your favorite color? I tease. Still my favorite everything, he corrects. And in the quiet moments, when fear tries to creep back in, fear that this is too good, too perfect, too fragile, I remember Constantine's warning. This life will take everything eventually. But looking at my husband, at the life we built, at the future growing inside me, I realize he was wrong. This life didn't take everything. It gave me everything I didn't know I needed. A man who sees me, a love worth fighting for, a courage I didn't know I possessed. And all it cost was the fear that kept me invisible. Worth it. Every terrifying, beautiful moment, worth it completely. We chose each other. We chose to be seen. We chose love over safety, presence over hiding, truth over comfort. And we lived happily, not ever after, because life doesn't work that way, but happily enough, visibly enough, together enough, forever in red.